What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonia Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going.
Yay!
Yay! What are you looking at? What? That's how we're gonna add to the opening.
Just look at each other.
Yay! Go like that
and laugh.
Oh, what the hell.
So, this is gonna go a different way, just so you know. So, I had a really good friend of mine ask a question.
Yeah.
And she asked, "How in the world do you guys do what you do?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You have Trust Inc."
Yeah.
She said, "Miguel works a full-time job.
Yeah.
You guys have 2 kids. They're both in sports. You guys started a podcast, and now you started with Amazon merch by Amazon. Like,
yeah.
How do you do all that? Like, how do you guys do that?"
And if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, you might notice that the quality's a little different because we got a new camera.
Yes.
We're figuring all that out.
Right. Yeah. On top of that, and people don't get to see that. And she's like, how do you guys do it? And how is it that you guys look like you're so happy?
Yeah.
She's like, are you guys being real? Like on the podcast? Like, are you guys, is your life that good? Almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
the answer is,
she said, and I just told her, I'm like, because I had to think about it. Like, I really had to think about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, damn, that's a good question. How in the hell do we do it? Like,
yeah.
How do we do it?
So what's the answer? Is it or is it not?
No, it is good. Like, our life is good, but she wants us to get into like the challenges and the obstacles. And I felt like we did. I mean, we've had it out on the podcast.
Yeah.
We've had arguments on the podcast.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, because I think we were going through some
we need to fight
stuff, right?
On the podcast
I know,
more.
And that's what I told her. I'm like, well, how real? I mean, this is as real as it gets. I mean, we do have disagreements.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and we just see it through. Like, we talk about it. There's times where we're at each other, but it's like we don't stay at it because we talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and how we make things happen is we just make it happen. Like the last week I came home totally exhausted, right? Like I was tapped out. And I had plans on making dinner, but you seen me.
So, yeah.
And you told me I got it. You're like, I'll make dinner. I got it.
That was the day with the litter box, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I think that was the
day. Was it?
Because you came home and you were like we say, ovaries to the wall. You know, balls to the wall, ovaries to the wall. And like, I mean, you got home and it was like you had to start doing stuff still for work. And it was late. Like we already had, like we had dinner and I was already cleaning up by the time you got home.
Yeah.
You know, but it was one of those things that you had asked me to take out some salmon to make for dinner.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I take it out and I go back to doing what I was doing. But then I was editing videos for the podcast and, you know, doing stuff with the kids. And then by the time I got done, I started noticing that it was getting later. Like later to the point where it's, later than normal. But like you told me to take the salmon out. And if you're planning on putting the salmon or in making it for dinner, it's going to have to start getting, like the oven needs to get preheated now, you know, and you still weren't home. I hadn't heard from you, but I also know how signings can go sometimes. So I started the oven and I was like, well, we'll see. If you walk in, then you can, start making dinner if you want. And if not, I'll just pick it up and go. So then the later it got, I was like, well, and then what happened was I started getting the salmon ready because you still weren't home. Mm-hmm. And then I put it in the oven. And then you text me, you're like, can you, get the salmon ready or start the oven or something like that. But I was like, I already started.
But, and And that's what makes it work, because there'll be times where the trash needs to be taken out. And I can see that you are super caught up with the podcast, like whatever, we got, a new camera, we got a new computer. There's a lot of things that need to be learned. And I can tell like you were just in it and already a bit frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Because it's new. And I'm not going to bug you to take out the trash when I could just do it myself. And it's the same thing when the kids are in sports. I want to be there, but there's times where my signings last longer and I just can't. And so you end up taking the kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just, we have each other's backs. And I think that's when it comes to owning a business, just being in a relationship, period, whether you have a podcast and your life is all crazy, it's like when being more aware of the other individual's feelings or where they're at.
Yeah.
And being able to pick up and be like, you know what, I got this. I know you were going to do laundry, but I got this.
Yeah. No, it is a team. I mean, we've talked about it here before. And excuse me, like that is how, I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but that is how I see it. Like talking with Joe Newman and the benefit of sports, like this is our team. And if we don't, sometimes things happen and other people have to pick up, and that's just part of it, and if we want to succeed, we all got to do our thing.
Yeah. And there's times where the communication isn't on point,
No.
I mean, before we started this podcast, I was in my emotions, in my thoughts because of something that happened. And for me, because I'm so emotional, a lot of times when we start the podcast, like it's hard for me to fake that I'm happy, right? Like it's hard for me to be in it if my feelings are elsewhere. So I had to gather myself. I had to listen to a podcast. I had to read some inspirational quotes because inside I'm sad. Like I'm sad with what's going on with something that happened. And so in order for me to be here with you all, I need to get my mind right and my emotions together so that I can, bring it.
Yeah. So, but your friend was saying, like, are we like that? Or is it like that? Like she sees on social media or like even right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think that kind of answers her question is no, it's not the way it seems, because this is something that we put out there. And a lot of times when we do put out the problems and the issues that we're having for the most part, but they're usually after the fact. They're not happening live on the podcast usually. And sometimes they do.
Well, sometimes.
But it's not
happened a few times
it's
where your
not
mom's
usual.
calling me saying, hey,
you guys
is everything okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Guys, remember?
Yeah. Damn, I don't remember when that was a while ago.
Yeah, a few months ago,
No, that was a while.
Was it a while ago? I don't.
This pandemic makes time go by freaking fast. I guess so.
But I mean, we are as honest and as authentic as we possibly can be when it comes to having situations.
Yeah. But listen, when we're doing the podcast or when we're posting pictures, it's not like we're arguing or we're having a shitty day or whatever, and then we're snapping selfies and posting them online.
Right.
That's not happening.
Right.
So no, it's not.
Yeah.
Because when we're having these issues, it's not happening while we're recording. It's happening when nobody's looking.
Right.
Right. And then we'll bring it up here.
Right.
Right. So it's not what it looks like, but we do try to talk about it. Now, yesterday was one of those days, even though, we were talking before the podcast and you said something and I feel like shit about it and it sucks.
What are you talking about?
About yesterday. I was in a shitty mood but I wanted you to talk about what you were talking to Audrey about. About how everybody was kind of.
Yeah. So, okay. So yesterday, I wanted, just for us to have a great day together.
Yeah.
And it seemed like everybody was going through shit but me.
Yeah.
You know, like you were into your shit. You had a, you know, I'm just going to say you had a shitty attitude. You know, I had Joey complaining because he couldn't freaking bat a ball, and then Audrey just in her feelings. And here I am, like, I'm happy, like I'm feeling good. And I'm just like, I'm not going to allow.
You were looking forward to the day.
Yes. You know, and so I didn't want your guys's shitty day to rub off on me, you know? So it's like, I'm the one that can change things if need be, but I had to control my emotions and not allow you guys to steal my joy.
Yeah.
So it's being able to control my emotions. And I was listening to music and I was moving in the car while you guys were having your shitty day. And it just freed me from getting in it. But it did suck, you know, that, you know, it was going this way because I pictured it going a different way. But at the end of the day, we ended up having a good day.
Yeah.
Because if I would have allowed myself to give in and allow your guys' feelings to affect me, we may have not had a happy day, right?
Yeah.
It would have gone south, you know. But I was just talking to Audrey because Audrey's very emotional as I am. And it's like, you know, you're going to have shitty days. Like you're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days. And your job is to make sure that you don't allow others to steal your joy, to steal your peace, to steal your happiness, because shit's going to hit the fan at times and you have to be able to control your emotions. Not only that, but to be the one to steal someone else's day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I'm sorry, babe. I'm not like.
And it's taken me years to learn that. And that's what I told her. I said, listen, it's taken me years to be able to do, you know, what I do. And it doesn't happen like that all the time. You know, there's times where I do allow your emotions to affect me or the kids' emotions to affect me. You know, I told her it's something that I'm starting now to practice, to be able to not only stay in my lane, but be able to control my emotions and not allow others to steal my joy.
Yeah. No, and yesterday after breakfast and we were back at the house, and the kids went camping last night in the backyard.
Yeah.
So I was setting up the tent and doing all that. And while I was doing that, I was texting with my little brother. And he's an artist and he's making us a painting for the podcast. So you guys will see it soon whenever he gets it to us. And I'm sure it's going to turn out great. I already seen little bits and pieces, but we were texting back and forth. And he was telling me that he had sold some art pieces, or he sold a piece. Cool. And I was like, that is awesome. And he had asked me something and I was like, sorry, I was hanging out with Sonja. That's why I didn't get a chance to get back to you. Yeah, this is the first time I'm getting a chance to chill with Sonja. He's like, no big deal. But then he texts me back. That's true. Love, bro. That's pretty awesome, man. In a way, the grind is real. You guys have been together forever. That's what it's all about. The one day you hang out is probably meaningful as fuck. You guys get to appreciate each other in a whole nother level. You know? And I get that right after breakfast. And I was like, fuck. You know?
Yeah.
And it came at a good time. I mean, the text did. But I got to work on it. Sorry, babe. Hey, somebody commented on our video.
But and what got me really just focused, I had to refocus because there are times where we get very busy and I don't want that time to be taken from our children, no matter what. And I had a signing with this older gentleman. He was 83 years old. He's 83 years old, and he lost his wife in 2018. And I could feel that he needed someone to talk to. And so we started talking, and I asked him a question. You know, he said that they had children. They were married for, I don't know, I think he said 50 years, something like that. And, you know, he lost his best friend. And I told him, I'm like, well, I've been married, you know, for 12 years. And I asked him, are there any regrets? Do you have any regrets? Are there any regrets? And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, no.
Yeah.
He's like, we did everything the right way. He said, we lived in the moment. He's like, most people, he said, they wait for retirement in order to live.
Yeah.
And he said, your children are little. He's like, don't wait. Oh, it's going to make me cry. He's like, don't wait until retirement to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
He's like, because by the time you get to that age, you may not have the energy or the health to live. So what I tell you now is to live now and to enjoy them now. And that's the thing. When people see us, family, I get it a lot from family. You guys are always so busy. You guys are always so busy. You're always so busy. But we're never too busy for them.
Yeah.
But I do feel there's times like this weekend where we were super, super busy. And it felt so good just to lay there and do nothing, right? Like there's times where we're so exhausted that we just want to hang out. And the kids will be in their room or at their friend's house. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like it's okay to do it every once in a while. Like
you're talking
Sunday,
about you want to hang out, me and you, and lay there.
Right. Like just, you know, us, like hang out, you know, because the
me and
kids, you and I,
yeah,
and the kids are out with their friends. But I'm like, I want to continue building memories with our kids. Well, and if it's us taking them to the park, the skating park, the batting cages, it's traveling like I told
stuff.
you.
Yeah, camping and all that.
And so I start to be hard on myself, right? And then I start thinking about the things that we do with them.
Freaking Sonja comes out of nowhere. We're going to Disneyland. We're going on trips every year. And I'm like, what? Like out of nowhere, I'm fucking sitting there like on the computer. I got headphones on, minding my own fucking bit. All of a sudden, fucking bam, headphones come flying off. We're going on trips every year. I'm like, what? Where's this coming from?
But that's where it came from because I was just listening to this gentleman, and I'm like, you know, he is so right. Like, you know, I would give up everything.
Yeah.
You know, for you guys, like, and the life that we're living, it's like. Our time, and it's so weird. I'm so confused with it all. It's like the time that we're living, it's like we've lived our life. Like we're doing well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the life we're living is for them now. It's not for us anymore. Do you know? You know? And so it's like, well, if that's the case, it's like, look at our priorities. He said, because he asked me, do you know what your priorities are? And I said, yes. You know, faith, family, finances. He's like, if I look at your schedule, will it align with your priorities?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that the work, you know, and sometimes people might look at work like, well, that's not family. But it could be, because if doing our own thing is an example for the kids, that is for them too. It's not just for us. It's for them to see that it's possible.
Like the talk I had with Audrey today, I told her, I said, listen, I said, everything, I said, when I die, I told her, things don't matter to me. Things don't matter. The houses don't matter. My business doesn't matter. You know what matters to me? I said, I'm going to make myself cry. I'm like,
you're trying to make yourself cry this podcast.
I'm like, what are you going to say about me?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you going to say? How are you going to feel about me? Are you going to think, oh, my mommy was a really hard worker. She worked really hard. Or are you going to say, you know, my mom, you know, was there for me. And she did the best that she could. And she always was happy and always told me to be kind to other people and help me to figure me out, to guide me on making better decisions, to never give up, to be a hard worker, but above all, to love people and to care and to serve people.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I had that, and just talking to her and that's what matters to me and what I leave behind for you.
Yeah.
But it's about what are people going to say about you when you die?
I'd rather be happy with, I'd just be happy with myself. Like me just be okay with my own decisions. I could give a shit what anybody else thinks.
Baby, I'm talking to our daughter though.
Yeah,
I
it's
understand. Very important for me.
But even still, at the end of the day, because people, they're their own people. I'm
talking about us, baby.
I understand.
You know, I was telling her, like your daddy, you know, I don't want your daddy to be like, oh, she brought in a lot of money. No, she was a good wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a good wife. She was a good person. That's what matters. What you guys feel about me. Yeah. The mark that I left in your guys' heart that's going to remain there.
Yeah.
You know, anybody else? No, I'm talking about us.
But what about what you think about yourself and what you're doing?
That's very important. But everything that I'm going to do is going to fulfill me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because my heart is making a difference in other people's lives by serving others. Like how many people can, and because that's what fills me.
Yeah.
You know?
What I'm saying is but you're saying that you were asking Audrey, what is she going to say about you? You know? And it's okay. Yeah.
I was talking to her about legacy. What is it?
At the end of the day?
Right. You know,
because the thing is that if you ask her now, yeah, she might say that mom works a lot. But when you ask her at 40, it'll be different. And at 40, you know what? She may appreciate the mom that worked a lot when she was a little girl.
Yeah, but there's memories that will forever, you know, like the times when we sit down and talk and have these meaningful conversations. Like she's going to remember that.
Yeah, that's good.
You know,
I'm just saying, as long as you're okay with what you're doing, it doesn't have to come from anybody else. It doesn't have to come from me. It doesn't have to come from the kids. As long as you know that what you're doing is all right. And if you feel like you're working too much, then you probably are.
Yeah.
But if you're working a lot and you can honestly, because we know when we're bullshitting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can sit down and really look at yourself and be like, yeah, my balance is fine.
Mm-hmm. I focus on that as much as possible.
Yeah.
Now, with you lately, the podcast can consume you.
Yeah.
Like you get very much into it. And there's times where I'm like, hey, what are you doing? When you're on your phone and
I get it, babe. I got it. And I told you, I've noticed it too. And I'm not adding any more stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not adding anything else. I need to figure out what we have now. And then once we figure that out, we'll do that for a while. And then we can add something else. But I already told you that.
Yeah. So I think that just knowing, and when he told me that, he's like, if I look at your, the schedule, your phone, or wherever you keep your schedule, well, your priorities.
Yeah.
Will I be able to tell your priorities?
Yeah.
So then it's so funny because then the day after that, right, I hadn't talked to him and, I didn't have signings throughout the entire day. And instead of cleaning the bathroom or doing something around the house, I was like, hey, kids, let's go ride a bike.
Yeah.
And we had such a good time, you know, and it was just us. I'm like, let's go have a picnic. We rode the bike. We rode our bikes, and then, you know, we had a picnic, and I told them, come on, I'm going to teach you guys how to meditate. We're going to do some meditation, and we're going to do some, you know, some stretches. And Audrey's like, I'm not stretching. I'm not doing that. And Joey gets up and he starts stretching with me. He's like, gosh, Mom, you're very flexible. Girls are really flexible. But while we're talking and we're playing, like, I'm like, come on, let's stretch out our hips. So I'm on my knees stretching our hips, and he comes at me and he freaking,
takes you down?
He takes me down, and then he starts doing jujitsu on me. And at first, when he made me fall, because he made me fall back, I'm like, Joey. And at first, it was like that mom mode. But then I'm like, oh, he wants to play. So then we just started hanging out, and we were wrestling in the grass. Like, we were in it. That's wrestling. Funny. And he was showing me some moves. And I'm like, hey, Joey, you're pretty good. You're going to have to show me some more moves. And he's like, yeah, Mom, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's those memories, those moments that will last forever, and that makes everything so worthwhile. You know, and the day before that, I took Audrey and her friend, and we went bike riding, and they were climbing trees, and it's like just being more present with the little time that we have, making it count. You know, even though we're so busy, just being focused on you know, them as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And so last week, you went on that spiritual retreat, right? And that weekend, Joey, so for Christmas, Joey, the kids got a cart for their bicycle. It's like a little trailer. And the week that you went, and so what we decided to do with that trailer was we were going to make a little store and buy them or they were going to buy candy with their money so that they could resell it. And, you know, it's been kind of sitting there for a while. So we put it together and put all the candy in there. Joey made a price list of how much all the different candies cost. So he's got Airheads and Blow Pops and chips and all kinds of stuff. And we took it to the park, and he started here in the neighborhood and started and he was like, can I just take it? I was like, you can try.
Yeah.
So he actually one of our neighbors went with him, and she was helping him with the money, and so he started selling. And then the next day we went to the park, and the neighborhood's different because they know that there's kids in the neighborhood, right? It's one of our own kids. So we'll buy, we'll buy. So he did pretty good. But at the park, it's different. People don't give a shit. Even if you're selling stuff.
Right.
But so he started getting, turned down, and Joey went with his friend, with his best friend. And they were selling and they were getting turned down, but then little by little, they start getting a couple sales here and there.
Yeah.
And he did really good.
Did he?
He did really, but it was one of those things, like, I had to remind him again about, hey, there's people that do want to buy. Not everybody's going to want to buy. So make sure that, just move on. Don't be too sad. Just move on to the next one.
Right.
Because somebody's going to say yes. Just keep going. And people will be like, hey, that's cool. And a lot of times, people, there was one, I think he was like a grandfather, and he just like bought candy for all his grandkids.
Aww.
Yeah, there was like 3 of them. And he's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And I think like his kids were there. So it was like his kids and their kids.
Yeah.
And he just like bought everybody stuff.
Yeah. See, and that's so important. That's something that you and I have done for quite some time, is teaching our kids about finances, because they can see us work and work. But for them to get them involved as well and get them to see it and know how to make money. And we've done lemonade stands before, right?
Yep.
They sold cookies in the neighborhood because they wanted new Halloween costumes.
Yep.
And I'm like, hold up. You have a closet full of Halloween costumes. So why is it that you're wanting a new one?
We've talked about our Halloween costumes on this podcast.
For sure.
The homemade Halloween costumes.
Homemade Halloween costumes. But it's just showing them work. And so they wanted new Halloween costumes. And I said, well, we're not buying them for you. So how are you going to make this money? And they ended up making cookies and
we went door to door selling cookies.
They made $90 in 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, they made 90, but I think like 60 was profit.
Okay, gotcha. But they got their new
They got
costumes.
their costumes. Yep.
So it's like just teaching them, because you can talk to them and talk to them and talk to them, but until they get out there and start working it, like they have their own, bank accounts and it's just teaching them.
No, they got to learn.
Leading,
Yeah.
and
so
because they don't learn that stuff in school.
Oh, no. But so that night after we went out selling, and then I was kind of showing Joey like how he can see how much he made in profit. Well, yeah, because I had lent him $40 for change, so we went to the store and got change, and I was like, look, you're going to have to give me back my $40 because I'm only letting you borrow it so you can give people change when they give, if they give you 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
So he didn't really understand exactly, like, because he thought he was losing money by giving me back my $40, you know?
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, we're sitting there and we're counting the money, and I'm like, well, let me show you how much profit you made, or how much money you actually sold or you made today. So I was like, give me my $40 back, and then we'll see how much you made. So I think he made like $20 the first day. Mm-hmm. And that night, he starts talking about, he's like, well, I don't have to go to school on Monday because maybe I could just go selling. And I was like, no. He's like, but I have a job now. And I was like, that's not how this works. You don't get to stop going to school because you're selling now, because you have a freaking candy cart.
Yeah.
But and then later on that night, he tells me, he's just one of these kids, man. He's all right. He is so sweet. This is something that I think I wrote it down one time.
He's our Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah, he's a Sour Patch Kid. He's angry and sweet. But sour and sweet. But there was one time he was looking something up on his tablet, and he said, well, it's the Amazon tablet. So he says the word to activate it, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, whatever, so-and-so, and he asks a question. And then when he's done, or the thing will answer him.
Yes.
And then he'll say the name again, whatever. And he's like, thank you.
Yeah.
and Sonia and I just look at each other. We're like, did he just thank his tablet?
He's so sweet.
It was so cute.
Like last night, him and his, go ahead.
But that night, we're hanging out, and this is after we've gone selling, and we're just chilling. And he's like, I hope everybody likes what they bought.
Aw.
That's what he said.
Yeah. It's so cute. So, as Miguel had mentioned earlier, Joey and his best friend decided they wanted to go camping in the backyard. And we're like, oh, that'd be so fun. Because I remember I did that with some cousins and we had a blast. And it just so happened, though, that it was going to be freezing. Like freezing to us. Like what, 40?
Yeah, 40 something.
40 something.
Not freezing for other people.
Right. But for us, yes.
But yeah.
And it was windy and it started raining. And the boys ended up in the house. And I don't know how this started, but they started a pillow fight.
Yeah.
And it was so cute though, because they came at us, and you guys were all playing and we just started a pillow fight, but they were so gentle about it. Like if it was Audrey and her friend. I was jacking them up. Yeah, but babe, if it was the two girls, some shit would have broke. Like there would have been some broken faces. Like they were more aggressive, but the boys weren't playing as rough with us, but it was so fun. And it's like, as adults, we need to find that inner child, and just have fun with your kids, get the pillow and fight with them and play with them and go wrestle in the grass. And that's what got me, because when he came at me, because, I'm like my back, and he just came at me and made me fall. And I'm like, Joey. And then something else clicked, like, oh, he wants to play. Like, this is a memory, a moment.
Yeah, you get to make this a moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And last night, again, they did it again, and we were having that pillow fight with them.
So, last night we had put the tent up. And so it starts... It was like cloudy all day yesterday.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So all day it seemed like it was going to rain, or you would feel like a drop if you were outside or whatever. And then that night it started raining a little bit, and the wind started picking up a little bit, and the kids come. So we had made them hot chocolate and took it out to the tent.
Yeah.
And So they were still out there when it was raining and it was windy.
Yes.
And we were just wondering, we're like, how long are they gonna how long are they gonna last out there?
Yes.
But so they come in and they bring in their hot chocolate, and Joey's friend, you know, they put it on the kitchen table, and I look over and I can see that Joey's friend's hot chocolate
is almost gone.
And we didn't give it to them that long ago.
Yeah.
And I look at Joey's and he still has a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you drank a lot of your hot chocolate. And he's like, yeah, I was stress drinking out in the tent.
And then, so I had put my phone down, right? Because I'm hanging out with Miguel and
we start cracking up. We're like, what? Did you hear what he say?
And so I get a text from his mom and she's like, so it's supposed to be 45 degrees and windy tonight. Thinking maybe next weekend when it's 87, they should try again. Cause I told her that they were staying in the tent, and that was at 6:10, but I put my phone down. So,
yeah,
you know,
you weren't looking at it.
And then she's like, hey, sorry, helicopter mom. Did the boys come in?
There's like thunder outside.
Or are they roughing it?
There's like a hurricane outside.
Or are they roughing it? And this is when I so happened to grab my phone. I'm like, oh shit, she's been texting me. So I sent her a text back. I'm like, sorry, I put my phone down. I'm like, they are inside. No way were our boys staying out.
Yeah.
LOL. Right? Because of how the boys are. And she's like, that's what I was saying to Brian. He's like, let him rough it. And she told him, her husband, I'm like, it's Evan and Joey. I don't really feel like that's their jam. Like, we know our boys. We know our boys.
They want the blanket.
There's no way. Yeah. No, they want to be warm, cuddled up, hot chocolate. Like, I knew that they weren't going to last out there, you know, or I was just like, okay, when are they going to make it back in? Because there's no way they're going to sleep out there, you know? But but our girls did because our daughter was
they were on the other side.
Yeah,
on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, right on the other side of the wall. And they were having a camp night as well in their backyard. But the girls made it, and the boys
they stayed out there.
Yep.
That was funny.
But it's so cool. Like, as parents, as adults, we forget how it was being a child. Yeah. You know, like like that movie we watched, Say Yes, or Yes Day.
Yes Day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they gave the kids an entire day.
Where they said yes to everything.
Yes. The parents had to say yes to everything.
That was a cool movie.
Yeah. The kids really enjoyed that. But it's like we forget.
That's on Netflix for those of you, you know, with kids.
Yeah. We forget. And I think that it's so important for us to find that inner child. Yeah. You know, and to bring that inner child out and to play with the kids and hang out with the kids and do the things that we normally wouldn't do, like pillow fight and wrestle with them in the grass.
Wrestle.
Hey,
babe, I like your shirt. Where'd you get it?
Thanks.
Did you get that shirt on Amazon?
I did.
Nice. You could get Opposites Attract podcast merchandise on Amazon?
Yes.
Dang.
We have phone covers.
And pop sockets like that?
Pop sockets.
Dang.
That sounds like a dirty song.
Pop socket?
Pop socket.
And if you guys would like to get some of our merch, you guys can find it on Amazon. One way that I found that it's easier to find it is if you put Opposites Attract podcast in quotations when you search. Yeah, it'll pull everything up, but you should be able to find it. I don't know why. It's a little weird, but I'll figure out the best way to do it.
And we're coming up with some designs for some shirts.
Yeah, we got some shirt designs that we're working on. Cool. One of the many things that we're working on.
Right.
But one thing that's really crazy is how fast the stuff comes.
Yes.
I mean, they have to like custom make the shirts when you order it, and it still shows up like Amazon style, like 2 days, and it's there.
No, I was impressed.
Freaking nuts.
Yeah, I was impressed.
So and if you guys want to check out our website and you want to share it with the people that you know, make sure you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com and download our resource list. You know, the resource list is something that we put together. When we first met, you know, obviously we were happy because we had just first met and we were married. we got married and all that, and everything was great. And
everything was great.
Everything was great.
What the?
And then, you know, it's just like everything. We have our issues and our trouble, and we were young and we didn't know as much. And we go through our struggles.
Right. Yeah.
And over the years, we've kind of figured out some things and some things that have worked for us. And we took a lot of these things that, things that we've learned, books that we've read, videos that we've watched, podcasts that we've listened to, just different things that have helped us get from where we were back then to where we are today. And we put them all in that resource list.
And we wanted to share them all with you.
So, if for those of you that, may be struggling or,
whether it's
could use
marriage,
some help, or
parenting, finances,
or you just want, you're always open to more information and seeing how, people do things differently. You guys can download that resource list. When you go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, it'll pop up. So if you enter your email and your name, you'll be able to download it.
For free.
And you can watch the podcast there. You can listen to it there. You can follow all of our social media, and you'll see the support the show tab. And when you click on that, it'll take you to our Amazon link, and anything that you purchase through there doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps out the show. And you'll see a link to Trust Inc.
And we are a nationwide mobile notary agency. We do some work with law firms, title companies. If you're looking to refinance, maybe purchase a home or sell a home, hit us up. You can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency to help you with that loan.
And you can go to Trust Inc. directly by going to trustinkusa.com. And we're also affiliates with Libsyn, which is who hosts our podcast. And if you wanted to start a podcast and you want to get a free trial, you can go to Libsyn, that's libsyn.com, and use promo code OAP for Opposites Attract Podcast. And you'll get the rest of whatever month you sign up in for free, and you'll get the next month for free. And Libsyn, what they do is they host the podcast and they distribute it to everywhere. So if you're listening to this podcast, it was probably distributed by Libsyn. They do it to iTunes, Amazon Music. They send it to everywhere. So that's promo code OAP.
Very cool.
So, what's up, babe?
Well, the kids are on spring break.
They are. Yeah, well, it's almost over now.
I don't know when they go back. I got to look that up because Audrey's like, we don't go back until Tuesday. And I'm like, why Tuesday? That would be odd. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
For them to start on Tuesday.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, especially after you just gave them a whole week off.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah. But so you asked me to write down while you were talking to Joey, one of the, like last week sometime, you guys were talking, and he said, and you were telling me that he was noticing something in your hands and your feet.
Oh, little brat.
You remember?
Yes. But we were doing something. Don't remember. I don't recall what, but I was in the bedroom and I was changing, and he's so cute. He looked down at my feet and he's like, Mom, he's like, I can see your veins on your feet. And then he grabbed my hand and he's so cute. And he's like, I could see your veins in your hands too, Mom. And he's like, aw, he's like, Mom, you're getting so old. And I'm like, but it was so cute how he said it. Like, it was like he just recognized.
It was like, aw.
Yeah, he's like, aw, Mom, you're getting so old. And he gave me a big hug.
It's like one of those things, like the way he sees you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what we were talking when you were telling me. Yeah. We were talking about like the way he sees you, or the way like our kids see us. Like we see ourselves as still kind of young, even though like little by little there's signs that it's like, all right, well, we're not as young as we used to be.
We just laugh at it. I think it's when we start thinking us, right? About, and then Miguel, because he was like, I don't know if I told you to write it down or we were talking and you looked at me.
Well, this is what happened. So you asked me to write it down.
Yes.
And then because you didn't have your phone with you. So sometimes if you don't have your phone or I don't have my phone, we ask each other to take a note or something for the podcast. So you didn't have your phone and you asked me to write it down.
And as you're writing it down,
I'm writing it down, and I don't know if I was did I use the microphone?
I think so.
I think I used the microphone. So I hit the microphone button so I could talk, and like the talk to text thing.
Yeah.
And as I'm saying it, like I'm hearing what I'm saying into the phone. And it's like Joey, what was it? What is the note? It said Joey told Sonja that she was getting old because of the veins in her hands and her legs.
Yes. Feet. I don't have veins on my
feet. Or you might have said legs in the thing or whatever. But that's what I was saying into the phone. And while I'm saying that, I was like, oh man, like I'm saying this like with you standing in front of me, like for a lot of women, that's something that would like, it would hurt.
Really?
Do you know what I mean?
I've never been that way though. Like,
I know,
I'm not ashamed of
but
my
like,
age. I'm excited. Like, it's so funny. When I was sitting with that older gentleman, I told him, I'm like, I said, I can't wait until I'm 50, because for some reason 50 is the magic number to me. Like, there's, because I feel like there's a higher purpose, even if it's just, like I was talking to Adriana, about purpose. Like, I'm like, your purpose could be just a great mom or a great wife. Like, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular. And while I'm telling her, I'm thinking to myself, because I've always felt like there was something bigger that I'm supposed to do. But doesn't have to do with money. It has to do with making a difference in people's lives, like helping them to find their inner peace, their joy, and their happiness with who they are and where they are today, But talking to her, and I was listening to what I was saying about it, and it's like, I don't know. I forgot where I was going with this. How I was bringing it back around. Oh, with age. Like, I was telling him, I can't wait until I'm 50 because I'm at a good place right now. Yeah. I can only imagine where I'm going to be
when you're 50.
When I'm 50, with all the personal development. Like, we do our best to be the person that God has made me to be. It's always checking myself and making sure that I am living the best life that I can be.
Well, it's just constantly getting better. I mean, it's just nonstop. I mean, just yesterday we were talking about all this stuff, all the equipment, the new stuff. And I'm like, when you think about it, all these new things that I'm learning, like, these are new skills.
Right.
New skills. Like, the learning doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And that goes for everything.
Yep.
Everything. Parenting.
It's the constant growth. And I think that's the missing link. Why people feel so alone, lost, or depressed, because they can't see past that.
Yeah.
And talking to Adriana and about, her thoughts and the things that she tells herself, like, they're real.
Yeah, they have an effect.
Yeah. And just knowing your self-worth and knowing that life gets better. I don't remember life being so hard being a teen, though. I mean, I remember going through some things, but I don't remember life being that difficult as a teenager.
Yeah.
But things are different today. Yep. Especially with the whole pandemic and what the kids had to go through. The kids that were in high school, graduating maybe from high school, they didn't get to go to their prom. They didn't get to, experience.
It's a different world. Everything changed so fast.
But it's like being able to find that happy place, and teaching her how to find that happy place when things aren't going great, and knowing that she's not alone.
Yeah. Yep.
Knowing your self-worth and just being grateful where you're at today.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's so much that can be lost.
Yep.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're on a roll, babe. But yeah. You know what? With Joey, it's cool. Every once in a while, we get some comments, like nice comments. He was over across the street, and somebody told me something. They're like, "Hey, he has really good manners. Mm-hmm. Like he's very nice." And I'm like, "Thank you." Like that's what I'm telling him. But it is really cool to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's little signs that you're doing something right. And when there's so many times that you're like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Because
you never know what you're doing. Like, you don't know whether what you're doing is sticking, and if they're listening and watching and paying attention.
They're not, but little by little they'll get to it. I believe
they are.
No,
I believe they are.
They're watching. They're watching everything. You know,
but it's just making sure that we are checking ourselves as well. Like, I don't expect them to be perfect.
No.
I expect them to give 100% though.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't expect them to come home with straight A's, but I do expect them to give 100% of who they are.
Yeah. The other, there was a couple days ago, we were hanging out, but we were talking about like growing up as kids, you know, and just like how we talk about like growing up in like a different neighborhood or where we used to live before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about like how you know if you grew up in the hood.
Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different, you know, signs that you might have grew up in the hood.
Right.
But there was one growing up that is like pretty much guaranteed.
Right.
That you grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
Like if you ever lived in an apartment that had roaches,
yeah,
you probably lived in the hood. Because the thing is, there's places you could clean as much as you want. Like you could bomb the place.
Yeah.
And for those of you that, you know, don't understand, bombing is when you freaking cover all your furniture in saran wrap or some shit.
Right.
And you set off a freaking chemical bomb inside your house.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, that is like a guarantee, a sign.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, you might have been a hood kid.
Like our kids, and it's not even so much hood, maybe less fortunate, you know.
Whatever.
Less
you know
fortunate,
what I'm talking about.
But like we were talking about that, like our kids will never.
Well, it's like if they look
that.
back and they're like, oh yeah, I grew up in the. Nah, you didn't.
No,
you didn't.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no.
Not even close.
Right.
Dude, in New York growing up, like it doesn't like for real. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. You're going to have them. You could try to seal as best as you can. You could try and keep everything. It doesn't matter. And the ones that come out of the elevator will kill you.
What?
Like they fly, they'll come after, they come
no.
after you. They come after you. The ones from the elevator, they're like that big.
No.
Like your thumb, but flying around.
No. I mean, we've
They go
had
for your
some
throat.
that would fly,
They
but
go for your throat.
I don't think they were that. Shut up.
You ever seen like those freaking, they got all those, yeah. They're dangerous. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
roaches.
no, but they would. The elevator roaches.
Yeah. I don't know.
So if you know about that,
I had some roaches. I mean, I had, some buddies. No, I had some buddies.
And if you still have them, well, then we can work our way from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Freaking crazy.
You said you used to see rats.
Oh, yeah. There was that one time. So when Joe Coy was on the podcast, I was talking about that place, Knights of Columbus, where we used to rent out the hall and throw the parties in New York. And there was a place, well, we were walking right by that place, and it was nighttime. And, you have the street lights, and it was like a shadow. Like I saw a shadow going across the street from the side of the street that I was on, going across to the other side of the street. And I see this dark shadow, and I'm thinking that it was like a cat. Mm-hmm. Or like a small dog or something. And then it goes underneath like the light of the street light, and it was a freaking rat. You knew it was a rat. It was under the street light. I saw it. And then it just kept going. It took off. Oh, heck no. Yeah, it was big. But they say, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's true. Like in New York City, like there's more rats than people. Yeah. Is that true?
I will not be living in New York.
But when on the subway you would see them, But anyway, yeah. Pretty freaking crazy. Yeah. So there was something that I saw earlier today, I guess. The president they signed a bill for the new stimulus checks and all that kind of stuff. I haven't read too much about what's all in it. I've just kind of heard that there's some stimulus checks that are coming out. They may be out by now because this is going to come out in a few days. So I don't know too much about it, but I do know that they named it something. Like they always got to name shit something. Like help is here is the Help is Here act or program or some shit. But they're also doing a Help is Here tour. What? Now, like I said, I haven't looked into it, but I did see that there's like a tour with cities or something, which I don't know if they're going to be going around to talk about what's happening, but I don't know if anybody informed them that there's a fucking pandemic happening, you know, like, and not to like, I mean, it's kind of weird, but like the president is a Democrat, right? And I think a lot of them they're more leaning towards like keeping stuff closed.
Right. But
then they're going to do a Help Is Here tour. I don't understand exactly, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what's going on with the stimulus checks, but
I don't know either. My mama keeps me up to date. We're getting
them?
We do not watch the news. Like, it's just, listen, it's just too negative, and that's stuff that I have to process.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm just not letting that in. So my kids, they don't hear about it. They don't know about it. Like, it's crazy because I'll go to signings and it's on. Like, you can tell, like, it's just been on playing, ongoing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't handle that. I can't deal with that. And if there's anything that I need to know, trust me, my mom will be calling me and telling me what it is that I need to know. I remember when something was going on with the lettuce. What is it? What is it?
Salmonella or something?
She called me right away to let me know what's up because she knows that I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
And we never been into the news. Like, we've never
really watched it too much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not something that we do.
No, but with the stimulus checks, I mean, people need them. You know, some people need them, but I still worry. You know, because
somebody's going to pay for that. Like, whether our taxes are raised. Somebody's going to pay for that.
Like I tell our kids all the time with everything.
And it's probably going to be our kids having to pay
maybe.
for it now, but yeah.
But I tell our kids all the time, like, nothing is free. And you know what? Like, you were telling me, what was it? It was like a pill, a sugar pill. Like, you take this pill or something and then you can eat all the sugar. Like,
it's not made for that.
I know.
Not made for that.
But we were talking about some stuff and you were telling me about all these things that do all these different things. And a lot of times in my head, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, because I already know, or not already know, but everybody, the whole thing that you're listening to is they're hacks, right? Everybody wants the hack. They want this hack so that I can do this faster. I want the shortcut.
No, it's not for that.
It's like,
that's not what I'm listening to.
There is no hack.
Yeah. No, this is for certain diseases and certain things that they're trying to.
Listen, what I'm saying is there are no tricks. You have to pay for everything. If you're getting something for free, it's not free.
Right.
You know what? Like the social media. If you're watching this for free, you are the product. Facebook is selling you something probably before you watch this, or there's probably an ad that they put it on it now, or before the YouTube. Like, there's ads next to this. You are the product. It's not free. Mm-hmm. You know, and when they send you free money, it's not free. And what's even worse is that the government has no way to make money. They don't make money at all. You know, like, we sell t-shirts to make money. We can sell different products and companies provide a service. Mm-hmm. The government doesn't have a way to make money except for taxes.
Right.
So where is this money going to come from?
Traffic tickets. No.
Where is this money going to come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, so that's what worries me about, like, just giving I'm down with helping people, but just start giving everybody money just everywhere. I don't know. That seems like a bad idea to me.
Well, I mean, especially because we are already in debt as a country.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Something's gonna come from it. Nothing is free.
Years from now, when the answer comes out, we're gonna be watching this and they're gonna be like, you know what? I heard on this
that angry
podcast,
motherfucker was right.
Opposites attract. Yep. He said somebody somewhere was going to be paying for this stimulus.
You know what's the other thing that I said? Remember what I told you?
What?
No empire lasts forever.
Mm.
Because I bet you the Roman Empire, when they were kicking the shit out of everybody, the British Empire, all these empires, when you're in the middle of the best times of those empires, ask them if this is ever going to go away. Do you think when they were building the Colosseum, they were thinking that shit would all be rubble?
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anyways, can we go to a happy note?
I'm just saying nothing is free.
Shit is coming down.
I'm just saying nothing is free. Nothing is free. We will pay.
Yeah. And if it's not us, it will be our children.
I'll take
or maybe our children's children.
I'll take the money though. But I worry. I'll take the money, but I worry.
Oh my gosh.
Oh shit. But yeah.
Always talking shit.
Yeah. So, hey, did you hear that they were going to take away Mr. Potato Head?
What?
Yeah, that was a thing.
When?
Because they said that it was like one of those, like the gender thing. It was just going to be Potato Head. Like straight up, just Potato Head.
Well, there's Mrs. Potato Head.
I think that one, I don't know if that one was fine or not. I think there might be just a problem with Mr. Potato Head. I don't know. I would imagine that they're probably all they were gonna take them all, but they ended up catching a bunch of shit.
But they got
a lot of shit for them making the potatoes.
And does that matter? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, does that really matter?
You know what? I was talking to somebody at work the other day about the syrup containers.
Yes.
Aunt Jemima.
Does that really matter? Did that make a difference in someone's life?
Exactly. Like if I was somebody that was like that had a problem, you know, like an issue, like a real issue, and they're gonna focus on something symbolic, like taking Aunt Jemima off of the freaking syrup container.
Right.
I'd be pretty pissed. Like if I need actual like real help and you're over here fucking changing syrup bottle containers, I'd be like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Make a difference.
It's freaking crazy. But yeah, that's how you know that you've got nothing to worry about. When you're worried about the gender of your potato figure. It's freaking nuts, man.
The world that we know today.
Yep. But anyway, thank you guys for being with us.
Miguel's going to end it on that note. No.
Yeah, just shit ain't free. Get to work, people. Yeah.
And find your inner child and have fun with your kids while you can.
Get to work. No.
Get to work.
Anyway, thank you guys for being with us.
We love you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing our podcast and subscribing and all that good stuff.
Make sure you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Wherever you watch this, wherever you listen to it, if you guys can leave us a review, if it's on Apple Podcasts or Amazon or wherever, if you leave us a review, we would appreciate it, and share it with those that you know.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for being with us.
And until next time,
bye.